Hello and welcome to part 3 of Thrones of Britannia Old versus New. I realise my last 2 episodes have been well over an hour long and probably quite boring, so this one's only going to be about half an hour long. I wanted to get further into this series before the game came out. I'm recording this on the 2nd. That means that the actual Thrones of Britannia comes out tomorrow. And life has got in the way, basically. I probably won't be able to play much of it until the 4th, so yeah, bugger. And yeah, I wanted to get further into this, and I've had all sorts of things to do. Life gets in the way. And yeah, so anyway, last time I had finished kicking the Welsh out of Wales and then killing them, and now I'm going to move on to bashing Mercia. And Mercia has by far the largest army assembled that I've had to fight so far. Everything so far has been not much more than a skirmish. And I think when I actually go into this battle, I have less or fewer men than the King of Mercia does. And I debated, do I go for the less defended provinces? Counties? We call them counties. Or do I go straight in for the strongest point and smash his army to bits, or at least attempt to smash his army to bits, head on? And I went for the smash him up because it's probably more entertaining to watch. And yes, I'm really starting to see why a lot of people play these just as the campaign map and auto-resolve the battles. This video is going to be half an hour long, and most of it is 2 battles, so I won't hold it against you if you don't bother to watch. But it is the first large battle I've taken part in. And the ending of the first the battle was over a lot earlier than I thought it was going to be. I was in for the long slog, and it seemed to go my way. Anyway, so I'm now working out how many men I can pour into the county that has the largest amount of Mercian troops. Trying to re-familiarise myself with the game because I'd played a bit of Shogun 2 for the history time this week. East Anglia, I'm just wondering whether I can get all the troops out of the settlement. Let's go and attack Middle Engle. So yes, Thrones of Britannia comes out tomorrow. Really looking forward to playing it. I'm hoping it's better, improved. I've heard lots of good things that it's much improved over Attila, which is sort of what it's based off. Excuse me. Never really got into Attila. I'm kind of procrastinating at this point. I'm just sort of working out where all my spies are and where all my troops are and everything else. Come on, get on with it. Oh, I also finally ran out of money in this episode as well. My treasurer finally says, nope, you spent it all. Piss off, raise taxes, stop having such large armies that you can't pay. Sorry if you can hear me slurping, I've got tea. Okay. So I put all the available troops nearby into... What is that? Roken Satan? Seaton? Oh, I don't know. Worcestershire. Ish. The border counties of Wales. So yes, what were the... So yes, just under 2,000 for me and 2,250 for the enemy. That means it's, a fair fight. Almost. Potentially unfair fight. Fair fights are for losers. Yeah, I do normally like to outnumber the enemy significantly, just to ensure that I win. Look at that. Rosen Satan? It looks like they took the word Worcestershire, took the H out, and then made an anagram of it. I don't know. So yes, again, probably rather boring from your point of view. I spent a lot of time with the battle paused. I was amazed in the first video I did of this. There's one guy commented all sorts of points, listing the time that I made a comment in the video, and I was amazed somebody went into it in that much detail. I didn't think anybody was watching, but there you go. So I went in with... I debated going into this without the siege engines, or the artillery in this case, and thought, you know, shall I swap them out for more infantry or more archers or more cavalry? Probably not go in with so much cavalry, although I've got lots of cavalry in reserves, because the enemy's got a lot of spearmen. And, you know, the rock, paper, scissors, spearmen beat cavalry. And I thought, when I realised I was fighting from the top of a hill, I thought I'm technically attacking, but he does attack me, so, you know, hill defence. So, got the artillery as far forward as it can go, so I can shoot at them all the time they're walking up that hill getting tired. But the infantry... Well, initially I put the infantry behind, and then I thought, well, hang on a minute, no, they'll just walk into the artillery, kill them, and then the infantry fight. No, I don't know. If you want the artillery to keep firing, you put them behind the front line. Only got one unit of archers, probably could have come in with a few more. But yes, eventually I work out, put your spearmen at the front, they can fix the enemy, then you have your swords around the sides, and other units around the sides. Once the main battle line is engaged, you push the swords around the sides, envelop them, and kill them. It's the usual hammer and anvil. So, yeah, this early game, I forget when it came out now. Was it 2002? 2001? The politics that take place in the campaign map, there's not an awful lot. You can send an emissary to declare war, or just move the troops in manually. That's generally how I declare war on people in this. Like I declare war on people in person. So, yeah, you've got your spies and your assassins, and in this you've got princesses that can also work as assassins, and you can marry people off to make an alliance stronger. I did have to turn on an ally to do this, because I was allied to Mercia beforehand. And amusingly, after this, Ireland, who is allied to both of us, decides to break the treaty he's got with one of us, because you know you can't be on both sides of a war unless you're Italy. Anyway. Yes, so... Or I suppose Russia in the First World War. Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, politics. So it'd be interesting to see what politics they've brought into the new game when it comes out tomorrow. I might have finished by now. Let me check. It's downloading as we speak. Oh, it's 10 minutes left. Preloading, downloading, whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping I will get to play someone the day it comes out, but I'm not holding out much hope. Life just gets in the way sometimes. Okay. Lots and lots of pausing, because I realised by this point I need to put the infantry in front of my artillery to protect them. For all of his faults, Napoleon knew, as a former artillery officer, look after your guns, they'll look after you. I read somewhere, at least I thought I read somewhere, and I've never found it again since. At the end of the Falklands conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, one of the Argentine commanders, when he surrendered, I sure it was. I read it was in the Falklands. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody knows this in the comments, do let me know. That after one of the Argentine commanders surrendered, he said that your infantry won the battles, but your artillery won the war. I thought I read that about the Falklands conflict, but I may be wrong. I think it was Frederick the Great said that artillery adds, what was it? Order to what would otherwise be an orderly chaos. It's, yeah, lots of things about the strength of the guns, and basically as long as you can keep your guns firing, keep them protected, let them do the damage to the enemy, you'll be fine. I mean, look at the charge of the Light Brigade. Horses against guns. Yeah. You must have heard of the charge of the Light Brigade. If you haven't, go and look it up. Britain might have ruled the waves and once conquered anywhere between a quarter and a third of the globe, but it didn't always get it right, to say the least. I mean, look at my history video this week. William Manly. Manly by name, manly by nature. I'd heard about this guy and did various research and things, but I always only ever looked into what the individual did in the action. I very rarely, when I was doing research for these things, did I ever look at the wider picture. And I'd never heard of the Battle of Gate Parr, and I just got no idea. Never really looked into the Maori Wars or anything. But decided to start doing a bit more context as to what was sort of happening, particularly if in the early citations for Victoria Crosses and Medals of Honour, there's so little mentioned about what was going on. There's loads of the really early, particularly the Medals of Honour and things, where it's just a sentence, conspicuous gallantry at so-and-so action, and you think, oh, well, that doesn't tell me anything. How can I turn that into a video? But anyway, yes, so I had to look into the Battle of Gate Parr and realise that it was a bit of a disaster for British troops, which I remember, growing up as a budding historian. British Empire, best in the world, yes, we've bashed everybody. There's only 22 nations we haven't fought at some point in our last 2,000 years of history, or even longer. But yeah, we didn't always get it right. So yes, if you haven't seen my his story time, go and look it up. Very interesting man called William. I always thought he was called George. I always read it as George, but it turns out that's one of his middle names. But then people go by the middle names sometimes. And yeah, William Manly. The only man in the world, well, in history I should say, in the world history, that we know of that has been awarded both the Victoria Cross from Britain and the Iron Cross from Germany. Go and look it up. I'm hoping to do one of those videos each week. About a different subject. Generally, sort of, each month will be one Victoria Cross, one Medal of Honour, and then other things in history. And I always try and link them to, if it's about the medal, then, or the action that earned them the medal, I always try and do it in the week that the action took place, or at least the month. So Manly's Victoria Cross incident took place on the 29th of April, so I tried to do it around about the 29th of April. Came out, I think, the next day, but anyway, it's near enough. If it's just an interesting person, I'll usually try and do it for, I don't want to say the anniversary of their death, but yeah, let's just say in the region of their death day. Anyway, I'm getting distracted a hell of a lot. Back to the battle. So I am outnumbered, but the enemy is fighting me uphill. I'm outnumbered quite a lot, actually. I'm getting slightly worried. So what I've done is I've got the spearmen to stand their ground in front of the artillery. I've got the swords on the sides to screen them, so that anything comes up and tries to hit the sides of my spears, I can hit them with swords. The cavalry, which includes my general, I've sent round the sides. I think they're actually It's the general's unit, or the king's unit, whichever it is, and a unit of essentially knights, heavy cavalry. I've sent them all the way around the flank to kill the enemy general. My theory being, kill the general, the rest of the army will panic. I realise, of course, I'm risking my general by sending him in, but I'm hoping that he's only a small unit of militia, so yeah, I'm hoping big horses. Well, at least I was. They do win, but they don't come out of it very well. Right. So yes, there's lots of enemy troops fighting away. The artillery's okay. My one unit of archers is doing the job. But the casualty rate is... yeah, they've caught up a bit. What would you say it is? 2/3 to 1/3? And I've got less troops. So, Anyway, so yes, my cavalry are not doing brilliantly. And there's a unit of spearmen charging towards them. So, this is something I found with the early games. They don't have... I mean, okay, I've told them to fight as a unit, to hold formation. So I realise, okay, engage at will. That means they can move around. And I just about get the cavalry out of the way, and at that point, just as his reinforcements arrive, the enemy general decides he's had enough of this and wants to run. I don't know. 14 urban militia. They whittled my cavalry down. I had about 20 something in each unit, and now I'm down to 20 in total. So yes, enemy general has been captured. Oh, okay, fine. Good. Yep, that's good. We couldn't ransom him afterwards, or just kill him, because, you know, I don't care. I want to conquer the country. Iron Fist and all that. And the spearmen have given up because they're trying to chase down cavalry. Doesn't work. 4 of a kind always beats a pair. And all of a sudden the rest of the army's given up. But of course he has got a lot of reinforcements. And I think, yes, you can just see on the tiny little bit of minimap that there is, you can just see a unit marching in from behind where the camera's facing. So, what do we do when large amounts of enemy are running away? Well, for a start, you try and stop your artillery hitting your own general. That would be a good idea. Instead, you use your cavalry to chase them down, cause as many casualties as you can. The more men you kill on the battlefield, the fewer can come back later to duff you up later on. And also, I think to a certain extent, the more you kill on the battlefields, that works as well, not just as an organised army, but once you've taken the province, county, whatever, once those soldiers have become just civilians that live there, they won't they are less likely to form together into an angry mob and come back and try and kill you later on. So either way, yes, as far as I'm concerned, kill as many as possible. That's what I always liked in Rome, where you could enslave a populace afterwards, because that gave you an income. I think, was it for the rest of that year, and each turn was a season. So for the next 4 turns, you got increased income from that province, from the selling of slaves and things. Excuse me. I need a sip of tea. Some people find slurping really annoying. I do it just to annoy people. Okay, so I've just realised at this point that I've got some troops that are still chasing the enemy down the hill, and that's when I've spotted the reinforcements. I hadn't spotted them until then. I knew they had to come at some point, but anyway, I was waiting for it to happen. So I don't want all my troops chasing the enemy down the hill, so I tell them to stop, and I get them to walk back up the hill again, like the grand old Duke of York. And just as a place to put them, just put them in front of that infantry line. Eventually I put them around the sides as a sort of screening force. Trying to get the archers to just shoot anything, because that unit that was running away decided to turn around. My archers aren't... Sorry, my archers, the enemy archers, aren't running away. So let's hit them with cavalry. because they're currently shooting those men in the back. Those spearmen, or fearedmen, whichever they are. Fearedmen, there we go. See, I've learnt, I'm calling them fearedmen, not freemen. And that's when I realise, there's an enemy unit, and there's my general, or king, or whatever he is. Yes, even if it's possibly a unit of archers, it's just peasants, but still, 5 versus 100 odd, or 60, or whatever it was. No. Let's get the general out of here. Yeah, you see, more and more units, enemy units, are deciding that maybe we're not being chased anymore, so we'll stop, take a breather, reconsolidate, and we can probably carry on. They start looking at each other. How are you feeling? Yeah, tired, but I'm still alive, so still got weapons. Still a few of us. Yeah, let's get back together. And we'll go and have a second go at this person that's just beaten us, even though we outnumbered him. That seems like a good idea. So, cavalry, very useful, but generally I find their best use. They're very good at going around the back and smashing troops from behind once they're engaged, because they're very quick, they're nimble, blah blah blah. But yes, definitely my favourite use is to have a couple of units of cavalry, and once you've got the enemy on the run, send your cavalry in, because then they will inflict massive casualties. Horse archers, if you can, are very good at shooting from a distance, and heavy cavalry are very good at smashing into densely packed formations, but still the best use for cavalry is flanking to hit from behind, or even better, chasing down enemy troops once they're running away. Or knocking out pesky archer skirmisher types that just won't sod off. So you can now see some of the enemy units are now, quite a few of them are still running away, but some of them have formed back into a basic ordered formation and are still advancing. And at some point soon, it's about the time that all my troops are reassembled on the hill, I'm sitting there going, well, come on then. That was the first wave of battle. Where's the second wave? Come on have a go if you think you're hard enough. And it's shortly after that I remembered, you idiot, you're the one attacking. You need to go down the hill. And all the way down there, they're out of range of my artillery, which was, my plan was to just pepper them with artillery, but those two big onagers, or onagers, whatever you want to call them, they don't move. The little catapults do, but they've got a much shorter range, so, yeah. So I'm just setting up, again, the wings of my army in a sort of defensive pattern, and I've just realised, because you always have to spread them left to right, I've just told those to face the wrong way, and then get the right way. There we go. Good. And my cavalry and my king are back behind the line, and that's a few units of enemy coming. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, quite a strong formation. My spearmen are still doing quite well. There's still quite a few ranks deep, and there's still enough of them to make an orderly line to defend the artillery. So I'm not doing too badly. And I've still got reinforcements. And I thought, the artillery's getting a bit low. Catapults have nearly run out. The onagers they're down to about halfway. So, I think it's at this point I tell them to withdraw, because I don't think I can call in more reinforcements. You can only have that number, whatever it is. Was it 16? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, yes. 16 units to a battle, I think. In this game. I think you can have more in the later games, but as far as I can remember in this one, you can only have 16. So I thought, right, by telling them to withdraw, I can call in 4 more whole units that can do, maybe archers, or as more mobile artillery, or some more spearmen or more swordsmen. I've got running out of swordsmen, so maybe some more swords for a big impact because I'm charging. Oh. Primary objectives: defeat the enemy army, the Mercians, make sure the army isn't captured, routed, or killed. So did they just decide to run away? No, it says they're marching strongly. This really confused me. Victory. No. So I wondered, okay, did I win? Or did the timer run out? But I thought I'd turned off the battle timer, so I don't know. But a victory is a victory, so I will take a victory. And they decide they can't fight me in Middle Engle. Okay. Second battle. Sorry, invade Middle Engle. Somewhere else they decided they couldn't fight. Middle Saxon, I think. So yes, much smaller scale battle, but that was the first big battle I've taken part in. Wasn't entirely sure I was going to win it, but I was given the top of the hill and defended it. So, I'm only up against 2 units in this battle. And it didn't quite go... It didn't end up being the walkover I thought it was going to. I think that militia unit, I think they've got quite heavy axes or something. They're much heavier than I anticipated. And as usual with my... You saw the early skirmish battles, they go on a lot... They went on a lot longer than... This is going to be one of those. I do speed it up at some point. Rather than make your men run into battle, just speed the timer up. Very nice rectangular fields. Farming fields we've got to fight in there, but yeah. Oh, there's some more there. Quite a few crosses around. Ritual! I just said stone cross, I just saw it go across there. So yes, 2 against 4. I've got an army, their army is 2/3 the size of mine? Was it 190 to 260, something like that? So as they have no missile troops, I'm just sending my missiles in to harass them. Because we all know there's nothing more annoying than being hit by arrows and there's nothing you can do about it. Try and draw the enemy out. Fight the battle on your terms. Draw them into battle. Make the enemy go where you want them. Who was it? You know, the Total War games often do quotes in the middle of their in the loading screens and this sort of thing. There's one that they have in Shogun 2. I think it's got Miyamoto Musashi. Some ancient samurai master. He's virtually a saint now in Japan. One of his quotes, I think they mentioned, was if you can annoy the enemy, you've already won half the battle or something. Make them lose their cool. Stop them thinking properly. Piss them off, basically. They no longer think straight, and you can beat them. I think one of his stories, he was challenging a few people to a duel, and they were supposed to be better swordsmen than he, so he had to outwit them. And one of them that he knew had a terrible temper. He deliberately turned up late to the battle, several hours late. So by the time he got there, his opponent was raging, and he managed to beat him by just outthinking his tactics and everything else. So, anyway, back to this battle. Oh dear. I'm glad this one's only half an hour long, I'm losing my voice. So, my archers are in range. He hasn't got that much further to run backwards. So now the archers are in range. I'm going to put my infantry in front to intercept. Keep the archers firing. Stop them running away, because they quite often like to run away just as the battle lines close. Oh, for God's sake. I apologise for the coughing. I've had a hard day. Sort of. It's not a hard day, it's just wet. It's Britain in the spring, it's wet. So yes, cavalry off on the left flank. I was waiting for them to for the enemy to just smash into my spearmen, and then I realised no, I've put a general who's, I think he's Prince, whatever he is. So of course they're going to go for him. So intercept them with the spearmen. Now this battle between these two, because it's again hammer and anvil. The cavalry are the hammer, the spears are the anvil, and already they're running away. The other units, on the other hand, not so much. The one fighting the enemy, I thought they'd last longer than they did, and they're already, well, they're losing. Yeah, so you're winning easily, and these are just urban militia. I've no idea. I need to look into what urban militia are, because I just thought they'd be like the militia that you get in Rome, where they're just, you know, they're the next one up from peasants. They can just about drill and hold the spear the right end and whatever. But no, these guys seem to be quite good. But then they are only up against, they're not up against particularly tough troops. And then we go back to our Sun Tzu, the art of war. Flood like water around your enemy. So I've told the archers to engage. They've nearly run out of ammunition anyway. They're not going to do any good firing at a big mass of men when most of the men are mine. Just tell them to charge in. Something went wrong with the clicking, because this is the trouble with the early games. You're clicking, everything was the left mouse button. Later ones, you know yourself, if you played them, you left click on the unit, then you right click where you want them to go. That works out a lot better than this early version, but I take a lot more casualties here than I expected to. That unit of, I think they're spearmen, took a hell of a beating, a lot more than I thought they would. But the enemy's defeated anyway. Enemy are fleeing the field. Get all the infantry to stop, kill the captives. Don't want to pay for prisoners. Put them to the sword.
Your soldiers have captured the enemy general.
And there we go. Bish bash bosh. Dead. So, that was a quick half hour of gameplay. 33 minutes or something. 2 battles against Mercia. I don't think I will. I want to carry on this campaign. Sort of, and there we go. Insufficient funds. Finally ran out of money. So yes, I will carry on doing this campaign, but I do want to get into Thrones of Britannia when it comes out. Be interesting to see how long it takes compared to this. This is only, what, 3 hours worth? And I've already got quite a bit of England and Wales. So, yeah, let's see how long it takes me to finish this one. I may or may not do more series. Let me know in the comments if you want to see any more of this, or whether you just want to see the new Thrones of Britannia because it'll look so much better. Yeah, okay. But yes, I will finish off this campaign and see how long it takes, and then we will move on to Thrones and see how long that takes. Hopefully much longer than this will. Somebody at Total War in one of the interviews said that people play their games for hours. I'd say hours, hundreds of hours. Yeah, 3 hours of this, I've taken, what, third to a quarter of the campaign map already? So, we'll see. Anyway, this is part 3 of Thrones of Britannia Old versus New. What year are we up to in this at the moment? 819, so we're getting close to the date that Thrones of Britannia itself is set. I've been Norris the Noob, and I will see you after Thrones of Britannia releases tomorrow. Although by the time this uploads and everything else, it'll probably be today. See you later.